The turning point in my trading career. Actually, I remember two turning points. One more practical and one, let's say, more psychological. I'm gonna tell you about this. So the first turning point, the practical one, I'm a systematic trader, so I build trading systems and I have to build trading systems to trade. So at the very beginning of my career, I was trying to build these systems and I was basing my work on my knowledge about technical analysis and so on. So I was mixing all kind of indicators, oscillators, all things together with common sense. I was choosing indicators and oscillators based on what they meant, what they were there for. So I was putting together these pieces with a common logic. And I was getting some results. These results were, I must say, deeply disappointing because the systems didn't show real benefit, real profit. Some of them were profiting, but in a way that would never be sustainable in live trading because of the costs that have to be taken into consideration when you go live. So I was sort of struggling in the dark because I was firmly convinced that technical analysis would be the solution to all of this. And I found out, making the maths about that it didn't work. So the turning point was when a friend of mine, I had been friends with this guy for a while already, Domenico Foti, asked me to cooperate, and he was already doing something in trading system area. So I was happy to work with him, being a friend, and he gave me a very simple code to start from. And this code was so basic, so simple. It was just buying or selling, buying the high or selling the low at the breakout, high of period, in that case intraday, but this is not really the important point. It was very simple, just entering the market at the breakout here or there, depending on the direction. And I couldn't believe it. So I was wondering, is that really that simple? Should I start from this? Yes, this is where we start from, and we build our systems. And it worked. For the first time, I saw equity lines that showed profits. They were not tradable as is, of course. Was also in that case, the profits were too narrow to go live, but there was consistency in the results. And that very simple piece of code was the very starting brick of the whole cathedral I have now at my disposal. So simple things work, and trading system world is not that complicated. It's not just because we have a computer that it must be rocket science. No, there is a common logic, common sense, same common sense I use with indicators, but indicators don't work as a signal. I found out later that some of them could help as filters in the trading decisions, but never as a signal. And while the signal was that simple. Based on that piece of code, I then, during my career, wrote other pieces of codes, and all these together created then the basics of work that I still use. And it's now more than 20 years. So, practical turning point in my life as a trader. The second turning point, the psychological point, was a bit later on. I was already developing, I had already systems in my hands, but it was in 2004 when I visited a trading course of Larry Williams in California. And there I was with other 100 traders, more or less, with Larry, and I saw that it worked. I didn't get new technical knowledge, I didn't get new surprising ideas, nor things that were the holy grail, no, because they don't exist. I just found the same approach that I was using, but I saw that approach put at work in a consistent way. So that was the key to really convince me that what I was doing was right, that I was on the right path, and that gave me, boost my approach, because I had material, I was working in the right way, and I knew from that moment on that putting the whole thing at work would produce results. This is what I got, and what I'm still getting today, after roughly 20 years, also in this case. So guys, simple things put at work, practical and psychological. These are the two turning points that, as said, put me on the run of my trading career and also allowed me to win 4 World Cup titles, but this is history. Important is that these things really help. That's it, guys. See you next time. Ciao from Andrea Unger.